right, perfect stream. And we are on.
Okay. Peace and blessings, family. This is Brother Shareef with the Hour of Power, along with Ptah Shakur. We have a wonderful guest tonight. We'll say our universal prayer, and then we'll get right into this interview with this wonderful young lady. Um, in the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon the earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and then another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God. For he's the gracious, the merciful. And even if I lived to be 1,000, it would still not be enough to thank God for his many blessings and gifts. He is one. We confide in no other in our time of need, and we praise no other in our good fortune. He is one. And even if I lived to be 1,000, it would still not be enough to thank God for his many blessings and gifts. We thank God for the Metu Neter, oracle scriptures and writings that came on the continent of Africa thousands of years before any organized religion. We thank God for Moses in the Torah, Jesus in the Gospel, and Muhammad with the Quran. I greet everyone in words of peace. To my Christian family, praise the Lord. To my Muslim family, assalamu alaikum. To my Hebrew Israelite family, shalom. To my Black conscious family, hotep. To my Native American family, halito. And to my people in the streets, what's good to you? It all means peace. So this is Brother Shareef and Ptah Shakur with another edition of the Hour of Power. We have a wonderful guest this morning. This evening. And go on and introduce yourself, young lady.
My name is Breauja Banks, and I'm currently the parent liaison at Devers K through 8, and I'm running for school board this year.
Great. And the election for that is May the 20th.
Yes,
but
sir.
they're having, I think we have it up on the screen. Is that right, Ptah? About the town hall meeting is May 7th. You know what time that is? I know it's at the CA.
Not offhand, but I know it's in the meeting, and I'll be there.
8:30, I think I can see.
8:30?
No, it's not that late.
6:30.
Yeah.
I'm doing something at the same time.
Okay.
Okay.
So 6:30.
So 6:30 on May the 7th at the CA, they're going to have a town hall meeting with all the candidates and current members. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe it's everybody who's just running again or newly running.
Oh, okay. So that's definitely going to be a very interesting show. Not show, but event. I definitely want to try to make that, God willing. So you're running for school board. What made you get interested in that? I always like to go to the origin of things.
Well, last year, my daughter was having an issue in her class. She was in 2nd grade. She waited until almost the end of the year to tell me about her issue. She just really wasn't getting along with her teacher. She wasn't getting the most out of school. And I couldn't understand why she just didn't like school. So I went into the school and I went to see what the issue was. And I talked to the principal. And I didn't come aggressively. I just came with, my daughter doesn't like school. And I'm not saying that it's the school's fault, but I want her to enjoy coming here. So what can we do about that? And Miss Hanson, the principal at Devers, I love her. She was very kind to me, and we figured out that situation. And she had let me know that they needed help because they had lost their parent liaison. And I stepped into that position, and I just started attending meetings and really listening to what was happening and paying attention to the decisions that were being made by the school board. And I disagreed with them. Last summer, I said, I'm going to run for school board. And then this spring, people actually held me to it. They were calling my phone and saying, you said you were going to do this. Are you going to do this? So now I'm here.
Not starting any controversy, but what exactly, across the board didn't you agree with?
Well, my first issue was the school calendar and considering our test scores. So it was 2 issues. Our test scores are really low, and we have to take this PSSA test, which they are in testing this week, and they had testing last week. They had a whole week off for spring break before that, and I felt like that wasn't serving our children the best, because how do you prepare for a test if you are having fun for a week right before the test? Actually, 6 days. I was very upset about that. So that was the major thing that started opening my eyes and making me really listen into what was happening during the school board meetings, and knowing that it's our voices that allow that. So when we don't show up and speak up and say we don't want these things, then that justifies them doing what they did.
That's pretty significant. Can you repeat that again with the scheduling? Because
Yes.
it's still that format, right?
Yes. So we had 6 days off for spring break, and then students went back in to start PSSA testing.
After
After a
6 day
six
break.
day, yes, after a 6 day vacation. So that's from third grade on up, and my daughter's in third grade, and that concerned me very greatly, because how do you have the confidence to take a test that you have not prepared for? I don't remember what happened last week, and these are children. How do you justify giving them a week off like that? I'm not saying that
Then
they don't
come right into
yes,
testing.
then come right into
Out
testing.
off of a break. That's your contention with it.
Yes, so
I
we
never thought
can.
about that. Yeah, that's deep.
Yes, the full week is not a problem. Kids deserve a break, spring break. People want to
Right.
travel. It's just like the placing of it that I had
Timing
the biggest.
of it,
Yes,
yeah.
I had the biggest issue with that.
And that's still the format. Obviously.
Yes, but next year it is not like that. I took a look at the calendar, and that has been fixed, because several parents and teachers have said that. And I do want to highlight how it's also not fair to the teachers to have that be a reflection of the work that they're doing after giving the kids a break and then testing them like fresh from a vacation. Is not really an accurate picture of the work that the students or the teachers are putting in my opinion.
Right. Talking about that, it's been a lot of controversy about these billboards. It's around town. Do you mind talking about that?
Oh, absolutely. I just took a picture of one because I grew up out
Yes.
Parkway like my whole life, and there's a billboard right over there, and I feel like it's accurate. It's
Right on
accurate.
Parkway Boulevard.
Yes, right on Parkway Boulevard, and I feel like it is accurate, and I feel like people need to know, and people don't start making changes until everybody knows, until you start to feel like a little bit of like shame, like either shame because you didn't know, or shame because like how did it get this bad and nobody did anything about it. So not to shame the students, but just so everybody has eyes on it, and that's how you pay attention to things. We can't keep hiding stuff, because then it will never get addressed.
Yes, you definitely have a different view. Not that you're the only one, but a good number of people in the community were upset about it, saying it's not accurate. It came from a state website, and saying that's like shaming the students. I think it's shining a light on something that is needs to be addressed.
I agree.
You know.
I agree. I don't feel like the students were attacked at all. I feel like it's data, and sometimes data is not pretty. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
If you want the picture to change, then you actually have to put in the effort to change the scores.
Right.
Because a lot of the people who said that the scores are not accurate, they're not posting the actual scores. Where are the scores? If that's not right, post the actual scores.
It's confusing because I don't know if she would mind me saying her name. I don't think she would. Miss Sherry Washington posted some, things, but I don't know. I think either way you look at it, something is wrong.
Yes.
Else we wouldn't be, discussing it. And I'm not shortchanging what she is saying, but I know something is wrong, and it's been wrong. And like you said, sometimes data isn't pretty. Like, it's been statistics for years that 67% of black homes are headed by black women.
Right.
That's not a pretty stat, but it's we know it's some truth to that.
If it's accurate, it's accurate.
You're right. So that doesn't relate. I'm just giving an example of what you said, that sometimes data isn't pretty, but I think we know that something is wrong with the school system, with the scores.
And I do want to say that nothing is wrong with our children. Nothing's wrong with our children.
No,
and we have very great principals, very great teachers. Lots of people who dedicated their lives to the city. We have lots of staff and teachers who have been here for over 10 years. They love our kids, and they believe in our kids, and I also believe in our kids. But we can't deny what has happened and what's happening now, and we have to correct it, and we have to evaluate, do we have the best plan to fix these test scores? What is the plan to fix the test scores? Because I haven't really seen one. And when you address it to like certain people, I would say like board members or like the superintendent, there's not a clear-cut answer, and I respect that. But what is the plan? And I haven't seen one.
Because also for years, the overall state ranking for York City schools has been around 475, 495 out of 500 school districts. It has constantly been around that number for years, and that's a fact. So that's something to be, concerned about. And I know I've had the superintendent on, and she gave different factors of why it's that either way you look at it, that's where it is, and that has to improve and change. So, yes,
I'll
sir.
jump in with a little housekeeping. Just to jump in, this is Ptah Shakur here. Like I said, this program is the Hour of Power program. This is from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're coming out live on the White Rose Community Channel 16 and 18, as well as this is being streamed over Facebook, and then later on it will be put onto YouTube. This program is designed to give you, the individuals, the community members, a voice to express what it is or whatever you have on your heart, whether it's some business that you're looking to start and you want to bring it to the body and help highlight your business. We want to hear from our youth. We believe the youth are our future. This is some feel-good TV that we're trying to produce here. So we want to hear from your youth. We want to hear whether they're going away to college, whether they're going to the military, whether they're doing different type of entrepreneurial endeavors. We want to hear that. So then also, even whatever your views are, we don't hold it to just to one particular persuasion. Whatever your acronyms are, whatever your religious beliefs, whatever your cultural beliefs, this is an opportunity for you to come together. And I believe that when we unite together, we got to hear from each other first. So we got to make sure you open your throat chakra, make sure you follow your heart, make sure you share what's on your mind. And so this is the proper format for that. This is the Hour of Power broadcast. So this is a live call-in number. You see the call-in on the bottom of the screen, 717-846-5067. Like Shareef was sharing, we have Breauja Banks, who's running for school board candidate. And for just real quick and kind of get back into the conversation, I'd like to thank you. We had Sakia Byard on the program 2 programs ago, the owner of the Pecan Tree, and that's one of the conversations that we had, because she poured into her youth when they was in the schools. Just being a mother, she was the one being the liaison, and then so we salute all the parents that are doing their due diligence and showing up at these school board meetings and showing up at these being parent liaisons and take a real active role in your child's education. You just can't put it on the teachers nowadays. So so we got to add that little village mindset. I know we're all busy out there, parents. We're out there working full-time jobs, part-times, and all jobs and all that. But we want to make sure that we keep our youth first. And so I salute you for that. And then moving forward in this endeavor and caring about our community. I just wanted to give you flowers on that one.
Thank you. Can I follow up?
For sure.
That? You said 2 things about the youth. When I was in high school, I was 18 and I didn't know that I could vote. I think it's very important that if you are 18 years old and you go to York High, for you to come out and vote in this election, this is your first real taste of voting for something that directly affects you. So I feel like the youth should know that, and that should be pushed farther. Voting in local elections, it gives you a real voice and it affects your real life. We pay a lot of attention to national politics, but that has a trickle-down effect, and you're affected much more by your local candidates and local elections. And then another thing that you said about getting involved in the youth and calling the youth in. Sometimes it can be difficult as a parent, from a parent's perspective. I work full time. I worked all day today, and then I came in here. I had to get a babysitter, drop my kids off, go pick up my mama. I got to go pick them up and give them baths. I know that it's hard. I know that board meetings are long and they may seem a little boring, but it's very important things being said that you need to pay attention to. The board meetings can be watched on YouTube. You can go back and just listen to it, play it back, or just Zoom through it even if you have to. Just get something from that board meeting so that you're knowledgeable about what's happening, because there's a lot of complaining sometimes from the community and from parents, and there's a lot of what we didn't know. They hide it or not hide it. They say it in the board meetings. They say it, they put it on the calendar, they send a little email. It might not catch your attention. We need to start looking closer into that, because that's how they're getting away with a lot of stuff.
Is that live on YouTube?
Yes, it's live on YouTube when it's
So that last meeting that we were
Yes,
at,
sir.
I didn't see anyone recording.
Yep.
I didn't know
Yes.
that.
If you watch it on YouTube, you see me going, what? Because I was talking to Miss Wendy in the back.
Wow, I didn't know that. Now I knew the city council meetings was recorded, but I didn't know the school board meetings was live on YouTube.
Yes, they are live for the public. So they say like the public can't hear you if you're not speaking into the mic. So yes, they are live to the public. And I will say, attention spans are a lot shorter with kids and adults these days. And if you really want to get the message out, a summary of the board needs to be available, like easily accessible, and like posted somewhere so people can stay up to date with those quick little like tidbits, rather than being expected to listen to a whole 2-hour board meeting. You might not have the time. If you still want your parents to be informed, you have to try to reach them the way they're receiving information right now. You can't keep doing things the traditional way, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, those are some pretty lengthy meetings, but like you said, a lot of important things are shared. Financial information and where the money is going.
That's most important. And we're
The
just
hirings
don't move
and
without the money.
firings.
Yeah. So, what do you think is the main challenge for our youth in school?
I would
That's
say,
a broad question.
yes, I would say the main challenge for youth, just speaking of York City, because we know that most of our children are in poverty. Everybody here receives free school lunch. I would say what they're dealing with at home and like what lies heavy on the brain and heavy on the heart affects them coming into the school. That I think that's the greatest concern right now that we have for the kids. It's becoming more common and more acceptable to say that you have mental health issues, although we do have a long way to go within our community, the Black and Brown community. But I do think that a lot of the schools individually and in the board itself supports having those mental health services and programs there, and like school counseling to help the children. I do think that there needs to be more specific programming though to get it to everybody. So like if you're feeling kind of bad and you know yourself, you can go to a school counselor, but what if you don't know yourself? Like what if you're not willing to reach out? Who's like checking in with the students to make sure that they're doing okay just mentally, even if they're doing okay in school. When I think back to when I was in school, I was a really good student, but I wasn't okay mentally a lot. And even though I was doing well in school, my mental health suffered, and it affects me like even now as an adult. So just because you have those good students doesn't mean that you can like push them to the side when it comes to mental health. I think everybody needs like really intentional services when it comes to that.
You think that they have someone that they feel, I mean, you can't say how they feel, but someone trusted that they could reach out to, you know, if something is really going on or has gone on, is that in place that you know of, or we need more of that?
I would say we need more of that. We could always use more of that. But I will say at Devers, because I love Devers, I'm a fan. I went there and I'm a parent liaison there. I will say that it's like a family over there. Everybody feels welcome, so you know you have that that person to go to, even if it's your principal, assistant principal, the office manager, the secretary, the receptionist. There's people who are warm and inviting there. They have like a special kind of relationship where they like, I don't know, it's like a black mom vibe kind of when you go in there with some of the hall monitors.
Like Big Mama House type of.
Yes, like so it's like we all cool, don't get crazy. It's like a level of respect, and I think that you need that. So I can't speak for what happens at other schools, but I do know that many of the teachers, especially the Black and Brown, and we have a lot of those around here, have tried to tap in with students a lot, and I appreciate that.
And can I jump in just real quick?
Sure.
And this is something in a conversation I had with someone earlier in this week. You familiar with Harambe's?
No.
Shareef, you familiar with Harambe's?
Yeah, we had the Harambe group.
I know, but during the role that I had as youth educator, it was a Harambe. It was after school program. So the youth would come in every single day. They get that Harambe. Harambe is Swahili for all here together now. So if you're listening, we got a lot of educators. We know you out there listening. So check this one out. This one's for free. Ptah Shakur this. Harambe, you basically get it. It's basic affirmations. The one that I had, I ain't gonna say the whole thing. I say I had him say, "I'm a serious child." I said, "I'm a serious child. I'm a serious child with serious goals. My life is filled with positivity. I'm a worker. I know if I lay down with mud, I know if I lay down with hogs, I come up with mud." So it's a very, very, and I have them screaming like it's almost like a mantra. They know what time it is. Like, okay, let's go. I'm a serious child, and so just by doing that, and I'm a big proponent of affirmations, because whatever you say I am and whatever you put behind it, you positively or negatively charge the universe, bringing that energy to you. So always speak positive. And so for a youth, I kind of offset that mental health component that you were saying. It might not be a facility staff that can go into the different details, but just a Harambe for each class, and the teacher can lead it, and just give them that sense of encouragement and affirmation. Like, yeah, I am a powerful person. I am, I think that'd be a real simple, easy way that everybody all coming together. So Google out there, Harambe. Like I said, Shareef, you know about it. That's something that needs to go viral, because what can it hurt? Spending a minute a day and just reflecting and just saying positivity, and you speaking, and once you speak that positivity, that positive contamination, as I say, it really will come back into you. So I just want to kind of throw my little 2 cents in there.
Yeah, we actually had a Harambe reading group.
Yeah, we're gonna get that back.
COVID kind of broke that up and stopped that.
Because they'll remember it. And you remember rap lyrics. I still got rap lyrics from 1992 that's in my head. You know what I mean? So you using the Harambe and that positivity. I still got youth today come up to me and say that. So.
Yes, yeah. Talking about that, man, who was I talking to? Oh, I was interviewing Mr. Hellman, because I'm trying to get around to all the candidates one-on-one like we're doing now. And the subject came up about there's no Black History class at York High. There is not a current one. Would you be a proponent of that?
Yes, I totally support learning about Black history and learning about our history. So everybody knows like the general stories about Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and those. I feel like new generations can always learn about them when they come up, but we've had enough of that. I feel like we need to learn about the Black and brown people who have helped us here in our county, directly affected our lives.
Mm-hmm. We have so many heroes and sheroes that our young people have no clue about, and to be honest, the older generation don't know it either. So how can the younger people learn if the elders aren't teaching it to them? So
really know that the Kwanzaa person who started Kwanzaa was actually born and raised in New York.
Yeah, he went to York High. He was a graduate of.
He started Kwanzaa across the whole world. He came
was a
from
graduate of 1958 at York High. Malana Karenga.
Yeah.
He started, Kwanzaa, but he was a graduate of York High and a resident here for a little while, and then he moved out to California in 1966. He started Kwanzaa. So see,
Learn something new every day.
It's so much, that there to be proud of in this town, and our youth hardly have no recollection of it. They don't know who their people are. That's why they're hurting each other. They'll probably be hurting or killing their own family. It's real divided. It would be nice to have a festival for like all sides of town to come to bring us together. I know that takes a lot of planning, but one way or another, I believe it needs to be done. See, the mission home, across the street from the Philadelphia market, that used to be called the Mission, the Lighthouse. That brought everyone from all sides of town together. That place has been empty for years. I wish a lot of these, I don't know if this falls in the line with school board, but I wish a lot of these empty buildings could be used, for education and community. What do you think about that?
Okay, so I would say, as far as like adding curriculum to schools, as far as like adding a Black History class, I feel like that is a tough feat, right? And not that myself or anybody that's running for a school board isn't up to that feat, but as we said, there's a lot of great, smart heroes and sheroes around York County, and to rebuild our relationship with the community, we need to call the community in as a collective. And maybe it would be really difficult to have a Black History class added as a curriculum, but we could have a speaker come in. We could have a series of speakers come in throughout the year.
You took that right out of my
See,
mouth.
we used to have, I want to interject on that. See, we used to have a Black History class. So it isn't like it's something that we never had. We got to add it in. We had a Black History class with Mr. Holmes when I was in school. See, I graduated in '92.
I graduated in 2014.
Yeah,
We
so
didn't have that.
it's been long gone.
Yeah, it's been
when I
something
was,
they
but
deliberately
it
take out.
still isn't something that never existed. Your mom, Breauja's
Hey,
mom,
mom, my mom right there.
is in the audience, blessing us with her presence. She would tell you we had Mr. Holmes, and we had it was a full course, and I just don't know what happened to it, but it is very much needed, and I would pray that whoever is elected will put that as a priority. I know Mr. Hellman Smith said he would put that as a priority because he knows the need of it. But this isn't something that was never been. It has to be created. It already was there. I just don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, I would.
Oh, go ahead. I got
So,
something to say.
I would say, with my experience in when it comes to being a voice for the children, and I kind of stay in my lane a little bit when it comes to that. So I can't speak to curriculum because I'm not a curriculum builder, and I give respect to the people who do build the curriculum, and it can always be like a conversation and be proposed and pushed. But I do think that while you're pushing for something, we need something to supplement. And if we could start small and see like the impact of like a series or speaker, like look how many people show up, then we will be able to justify. I feel like we're at a point where we have to show and prove now. So we have to show that it's not just adults or community people saying that we want this. The staff is into it, the kids are engaged in it, and now we have like all of our ducks in a row to really push forward, like give it momentum. I will say that Black History is a priority. I'm Black. It's always a priority to me. But I do I respect the chain of command, and I know
Process.
and I know that when you start to do something on your own, it makes people look like, oh, they're serious about that, and then they'll take us a little bit more serious. So I can push it in the board meetings, but I do think like that other level of like building some sort of series will also help like give it momentum.
And we have so many great community members. I don't want to speak for them, but I know they would be a great asset to that. We got Mr. Kirkland, who is a local historian, Miss Samantha Dorm, who's a local historian, Mr. Brian Wade. He speaks about our involvement in the different wars and stuff. Black, and Miss Nisi DeShields. She does the genealogy. Miss Sherry Washington. We have so many people that could, like you said, maybe start out small, once a month. I don't know. We just need something.
Yeah, that's real big, because when we went into school, and that's like you said about curriculum, you can have a class. What is the curriculum? Because Black history don't start with no slavery. We got to go back to commit. We got to have individuals that have that knowledge. And I took that class too. I'm trying to think, what did they learn in that class? So if you're not getting from the essence and the core or something, don't even say it at all. So, but I like the idea that you were saying as far as like have some community instructors, individuals. They can be vetted, come to a meeting or whatever, so you can know what they're going to say before they say it. But we got to hear it from individuals that actually have that actual knowledge, that do the research and bring those particular curriculums. And then
Mr. London Kirkland, we had him.
Yeah.
He goes deep into the African
Kirkland.
history.
Shout out to Brother Kirkland out there.
Even though it was beneficial, when we did have the Black History class, it kind of started with the Civil Rights Movement. And that's doing our history a disservice. But, you know, they did what they could. It was still something, you know.
Yeah, I will say that at your college they're making an active effort to get successful Black adults in front of the children.
Yeah.
I spoke on a panel with myself, and I'm gonna say it was about 10 of us up there. Everybody was Black. Everybody was educated and highly elevated there to speak about their
Is it recent or when did
Yeah,
that?
this was recent. This was about 2 months ago.
Oh,
At,
shoot, okay.
Yes, 2 months ago at your college, they recently had a career day that I was also invited back to, and the I think it was the gym. It was flooded with children asking very good questions and thinking about their future. So I will say that on a smaller level outside of curriculum, I do think that there are people really invested in the success of our students and them knowing that Black people can be successful and that there are several Black successful people from here who still live here and who are still involved in the city. So I do commend your Kai's like counselors and staff for putting that together and inviting me there and inviting me back to like participate again, because I enjoyed doing that.
If you hear any of information, please share it with Shareef and I. We'll highlight that.
I
We'll
will.
speak it up so people can know more about it.
I will. I'm horrible at dates and times. I don't remember. That's why I keep like 5 calendars. But y'all got emails? I'll send them to you.
Please do.
Yeah, I did I talked about Ron Martin on my page today, and he even said, he's quoted as saying he wants Black youth to try to get into the field of journalism like he did. I mean, he inspired me so much seeing a brother on, you know, the news, you know, back in the day, and he was on WGAL news for, I think, 37 years until he retired a couple of years ago. And he is always, you know, try to encourage our youth to, you know, get into different fields, not just entertainers and athletes. Nothing wrong with that, but you can't put all your eggs in that basket, especially with athletes. A lot of Black males get their heart broken because it's so many people doing it. That's why I've been pushing my son to be a journalist, because he can quote stats from the 60s and 70s. I said, son, go try to be a journalist. You won't have any competition, because how many Black boys are trying to be journalists?
Stuart Scott's
Yeah.
out there.
But how many Black boys are trying to be the next LeBron? It's almost impossible.
There's only
you know?
one LeBron. The whole basketball team can't even, y'all all can't be LeBron. What the rest of y'all gonna do? Just saying.
You know, it's so many people going after that position. That's why it's so hard to be a reality. Not to crush anyone's dreams, but it's just the statistics show that it's almost like trying to hit the lottery going to the NBA and NFL. You know?
And it's about exposure. Like I've seen in the newspaper, and I think everybody has seen in the newspaper about that girl. Her name is Kai, the chemist.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
she doing the same thing we're talking about, outside individual coming in and speaking to the youth and just exposing them to chemistry. You know what I mean? It's about exposure.
Time, right?
They can get on this phone and scroll, and you can see they're exposed to rap music and sports. You know, so we got to work on allowing individuals to kind of be in the
Showing
face
them
of our youth. It's all about exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, you wonder why those scores is in the 90s and the water, whatever. I think we're doing a terrible job of exposing the abundance of particular events. I was telling the youth, and part of that Harambe is like, we used to say we're kings and queens, but now we're titans of industry. You know what I mean? So if we can get our youth to think about, what's a tycoon? What's a titan? You know, what's beyond just a manager, beyond just a builder, a business owner. You know what I mean? So if you don't know that the depth of certain things in your mind, then you would never experience it.
I also think that living in poverty, because a lot of people around here are in poverty, and I can't stop saying it, you speak a different language than like the middle class, that they speak in college and they speak in school. So just being here and having a strong understanding of money and what rich is and what it means to get rich and be rich in America, I don't think that many people know how poor most people in America are. And once you get to $100,000, technically you're rich. But everybody is chasing a lot of $1 million dreams. You can live a very comfortable life at $100,000 or even less. Just by having making a few more dollars, you can live a high quality life. I think that the idea of chasing money is like chasing something that's like beyond your reach, and you're never going to learn how to find that happiness in a good job. There's a lot of nurses that pay very well. They make very good money. They're not millionaires, but they live very good lives and they vacation. I feel like we need to bring back reality because we look at social media. Yeah, plumbers, welders, having a trade. I know hairstylists raking it in. I feel like you need to get a firm grip on reality and what money is and how money is being spent, and know that you don't have to have $1 million to live a very nice life. True. Most people who have $1 million are living beyond their means anyway, because it doesn't last forever. So
then we're not taught how to spend our money properly, so we're going to lose it anyway.
Yes.
We talked about that at the last when we did the group at the Hellman's place. We talked about bringing trades back to York High because that's where the trade started, was York High, and then somehow they ended up at Votech, and then they give black and brown students a hard time getting in there. But trade school was at York High. We had different trades. How did that leave and why?
Well, I'm not 100% sure of the answer of how it left and why it left, but I can. I graduated from Votech, but I went to York City School Districts my whole life before that, and I do think that the way that tech is structured, a lot of their building and equipment, it would cost a lot of like money to have those things put into York High. But I do think, and I feel very strongly that the people who we give money to, they need to return our investment. And I think that they need to open our doors to having more York High students getting like their trade skills there, even if they attend York High. I think that rather than doing a whole bunch of like building and structure and spending a whole bunch of money, sharing and caring and rebuilding that community, we give Votech money. How can we open up the door to have our students use their space and gain some of that those trade skills, rather than investing a lot of money, because we did just get out of financial recovery and we don't want to go back into financial recovery. We need to think about using the assets that we already have and the connection that we already have to build some things up, in my opinion.
I think it would open so much opportunity for the students, because everyone don't want to go to college and everyone don't want to go to college and go into debt.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of their life.
Yeah.
The trade schools
You
are
hope you do something close to
2
it.
years. And I about lost it the other couple weeks ago. My school loan, it's called Titan Prep. They called me to review my school loan and pay it, you know, and I haven't been touching the actual loan. I've just been paying the principal for years. So they go through my school loan and they said, Mr. Hameed, we need to look at something. Give me a couple seconds. He came back. He said, do you know that your school loan has been forgiven? $120,000.
When did that happen?
A couple weeks ago.
Just recently?
Yeah.
Forgive him?
And they sent me a letter in the mail, but I thought it was fraudulent because I was like, it's nothing that I applied. I applied for.
Scammers.
I about fell out of my clothes, man. I was like, this is unreal.
A blessing.
But it's a blessing.
You say anything about
shows how much.
You just said you can.
It's $5 over.
I graduated with my master's degree in 2014, and I didn't even touch the actual loan. I just been paying on the principal all that time, but it's been forgiven. I think it was something that Biden did. Yeah.
And they said he ain't do nothing. Look at that.
Yeah. So that was great, but it just shows a small example of how people are in, you know, debt with.
And how much did you say was forgiven?
$120,000.
$120,000.
Yeah. Yep. And they sent me verification of it and everything. You know, but I had been got a letter saying it was forgiven, but I thought it was fraudulent, especially since the school organization who I paid a loan to kept saying it's time to renew, it's time to renew. They didn't even notice it until they looked deeper into it when I gave them my social and they started looking into something and the guy was over the phone.
That
And
makes
he was
me
like,
even madder.
he said,
Because they would have kept taking your money.
How many other people out there is getting fleeced like that just because our lack of knowledge of being able to?
Yeah, but he sent it to me. It's official. So, but
We need
with the
trade
trade schools, you don't gotta go to school for 4 and 6 years and have all that debt. 100 and go for a year and a half, and have a trade. Electrician, plumbers, they make good money.
I heard this on the radio. They to be a sports agent, and there's something else affiliated with sports management. That's the whole thing. To be an agent and I think being a coach or somewhere in the sports where you're not on the screen, you're not dunking the ball, but you're the ones that making it possible for them.
Mechanics.
8 weeks program. They'll teach you everything you know, and that's gonna even like you said about the journalism and things like that. Dan Patrick has a school. Like most people don't know about that. And they teach you step by step, get you in front of a camera and things like that. And we should start something.
My son is looking into it. Like I said, he's supposed to be a sophomore in high school, but he's a sophomore in college. So he's
gifted.
He's looking into that, and then my older son, he could have gotten into that program, but he got into a little jam, but he got past that. But we need to expose our children. I think you mentioned that.
Shout out to Duke Jones out there. What was it? City Sports, All-Star Sports.
Sports Shooting Stars.
Sports Shooting Stars, excuse me. Yeah. Black man
that
doing
could be
it.
something
Sports,
on the job training.
Commentation.
I'm sure he would be willing to do that.
Have we talked to the like personally talked to the youth about what they want to do and what kind of things that they're willing to try?
We need that, and would they be interested in a Black History class? Going back to that, we can't pick things for them. I would hope they would want that because it's going to be.
I think
I work with the youth over there for the Christmas addicts, that Duke Street, that down south side. What you want to be? They're going to regurgitate whatever they're exposed to. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes
you kind of lead them,
parent,
away a little bit. But it's good to get their feedback on certain things.
I feel like people get invested.
Once they get exposed.
Yeah, people get invested to things that they have an opinion about and things that they feel like they have a vote in or a say-so in. So even giving a kid an option between these two things, you're going to do one of them, is giving them a
brush your teeth or floss your teeth.
You can brush your teeth now, or you can brush your teeth in 5 minutes, but the teeth is getting brushed. It's kind of like that approach.
Yeah, exposure is definitely key. We very rare hear from the youth on real important matters. We had the young people on the other side there.
Daughter,
Breauja Banks.
Y'all related?
Mama, we related to Breauja Banks.
If it's the Breauja Banks, I believe
there's a couple.
Yes.
Brown is a common name.
Rudy Banks' daughter.
Probably.
Hey, cousin.
She's
doing big things.
She's
20 years old or something.
Involved with the NAACP and a lot of things getting justice for our people. So I love when I see young people involved. I mean, y'all are our future. We try to hold on to things too long sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, and not let them, like right now, I should be preparing, which I am, I should be preparing my son to take my place. You have people, and sometimes in the church, they be old, and let the young people take over. Stop trying to hang on.
But they say that in the scriptures, said, "Thank you for revealing this knowledge unto the babes, not to the wise and prudent." So we need the youth. I'm a firm believer the youth that are walking around on the earth right now. I believe in the reincarnation. I believe some of the youth that's right now is some of the oldest souls in creation that are back at this particular time. Sit there and talk to them. Don't judge them. Don't try to guide them too much, but listen to our youth, and they need to be in positions, like you said, to be listened to, in all forms of even going into like the politics. You can't have somebody 89, 90 years old. Yes, Mama got something. I'll be respectful.
Oh no, I just had a question.
Sure.
When you talk about exposure and you talk about your youth, do you believe that we need to take that a little lower? Because why do we wait so long to expose our kids to things that are beneficial to their life and their future? Why are we not teaching them at a very young age the things that they need to know? Because the earlier they are taught and it's built upon, that lasts longer than trying to grab them, middle school, high school. Why are we not doing that at a younger age?
Great question.
Other cultures do it.
Absolutely.
When I was in North Carolina, we used to have a program called the Rites of Passage, and that was leading young men into manhood. We would take them out in the woods and teach them, show them what to eat and what not to eat. And other cultures, do that. Somehow we've, fell off, and fathers have to step up more. And it isn't everyone that men need to step up more and be a father. And not everyone is deserving of that title, because a father, the root word of father is further, taking someone further in life, mentally, educationally, spiritually, economically, physically, all those areas. That's a father. A dad is just a sperm donor. So not everyone is deserving to have the title of a father. You gotta be able to take them further, and we gotta bring our families, back together. Any strong civilization is family.
Yes.
I agree.
Any strong civilization is family. If you look at that big pyramid in Africa with the lion, the human head, and the lion's body, the Sphinx, that was destroyed by jealous Europeans, because they saw the strong togetherness. And I forget the man's name. Napoleon, yeah, he shot off the nose
Oh, that's what I was about
of
to
the
say.
Sphinx.
They have a history of doing that because, black features.
Yeah.
So it's like this ambiguous thing now. If it doesn't look like a black person, now it's just history instead of black history, African history.
Yeah, we need to be taught that. But family is what makes any civilization strong. Man, woman, and child. Sorry to bust anyone's bubble that thinks anything different, but that's what it is.
So I feel like I can't tell anybody who to love or how to love, and I feel like if different families are going to exist, then they need support, and we can't just push them to the wayside. That's how you build community, by respecting like different opinions. I don't have to do what you do. I don't live in your house, but when we come here, we're a community. Everybody's supported. Everybody is safe here. I don't agree with making anybody feel unsafe because of their own personal choices that aren't causing harm to anybody else. So I feel like being open and welcome to, like, everyone is welcome here. It just makes things easier, because a lot of the time kids are involved, and showing that compassion, showing empathy, showing somebody how to care for somebody who's different than you, to understand where they're coming from. I think that is what we're missing in our youth. And the more we become intolerant of like different people and different situations, the more that the youth becomes intolerant of different people and different situations. And if you just think about how long they have to live, getting that when they're young and just letting that steep until they get older, is what breeds the hatred that we see today. So I would just say tolerance, acceptance. We don't have to.
No, we don't. At least on this channel, we don't believe in being mean or disingenuous to anyone. But
we need as
we're
many
just
soldiers as we can.
We're just
Care
trying
what
to
you're
go
acting
where, and that's always a touchy subject when you get religion involved. That,
But like you saying about the rites of passage, that's nature knowledge. We need to know how back in the days you had to know where where's north. Without the GPS, because believe it or not, if y'all listening, go to Ptah Shakur on YouTube. I've been sharing what's been going on. You can have an EMP, something civil, the technology would fail. Then what? What are you gonna grow? Where are you gonna orient yourself? You know what I'm saying? And so, and I don't care who teaches the class. I don't care
we were talking about trades, but even learning tech, the tech industry is really, really big right now. So
at AI.
So if we can get some people to learn tech, I feel like AI is a computer. Somebody has to run the computer. True. A lot of somebody's is running the computer.
Prompts. You gotta know what prompts to put.
Yes. So I feel like that is do you know in other school districts, right in this county, they're doing STEM. The kindergartners are doing STEM. Mm-hmm. They were doing programming in Dallastown. Mm-hmm. My third grader just got a laptop or an iPad, figuring out how to work it here in this district. So, and that's not a shot at anybody specifically in the district. It's just to say how, by comparison to a neighboring district, how are we measuring up? When these kids grow up, how can they compete in the job field if they don't have all of those skills? We're missing steps, and I feel like there has been a lot of just separation overall. Why can't we look at the neighboring counties who are doing well and kind of say, hey, are you willing to help us? What are you doing here that's working well? And I know there's a lot of bad history, but all of that can be repaired. I think there's a lot of negative opinions about people in York City, and I think that's because they don't know us, and once they see who we are, then they would be willing to help, because like, we're all Pennsylvanians, we all live in York County, whatever way you gotta put it, we're all in the same area experiencing very similar things. If you care about children, you should care about all children, and you should care about the neighborhood over there. Oh, they don't got what? Oh, how can we help them get that? I feel like that is the mindset that we need to have throughout the city and throughout the county.
That's called the urban sprawl. We're suffering greatly with that. People coming here are going to Central and Dallastown and Red Line, and people are trying to move out. It's even hurting us sports-wise. Like everyone used to be scared to play York High in football and basketball. That fear factor has been left us because many of the good athletes that could come to York High are going to Dallastown, Central, and all those schools, and then students and families are moving out. No one wants to live in the city. No one wants to go to city schools, as they say. We're taking a huge hit with that in a lot of ways. That affects our taxes, the home ownership and rent, and all that affects your neighborhood.
Own a home here, for somebody who lives here and works here, it's getting harder and harder for them to own a home here because prices are getting so high, taxes are increasing. We don't know what's going on with the federal government that's going to trickle down to the state government. It's very scary times. But I remember a time where we were walking through the streets celebrating, like we're getting ready to take the PSSA with our families and our kids, like doing street parades. I remember walking in the parade as a middle schooler. I think I was Hannah Penn. I didn't even know who Hannah Penn was, but I walked in the parade and I felt proud of myself, and I felt like the students around cared about us. We used to have the lady who dressed like a bee. What is her name? She used to come into our school and she used to dress like a bee or a ladybug, and she would just
Donna Watkins.
Yes, she just used to be so happy to just read. And when you think about it, like I could think
the reading bee.
Yes, the reading bee. So when you think about it, I could be like, dang, mama, why you got on that bee suit? But now I'm thinking like I would be the mom walking around in the bee suit because I want because I want the kids to be engaged, give them something to remember. Yeah. That stuck out to me so much, and I feel like we're missing that in our community, and we need to bring that back. Where can I buy a bee suit at, Mom? Google it.
Yeah, that's missed
out. This is a program for solution. We don't say this. We don't just sit here and just talk about problems. So we all build as a community. So if you're out there, you know how to seamstress and make a bee suit. Make 2 of them.
Yeah.
That's Miss Donna Watkins.
Extra large.
I don't know if she
I'll pay you.
Does that or not, but she was real adamant.
Yeah, she was a beautiful soul. Every time she came through Christmas Side, doing her thing. Yo.
We can do the simplest things to help the teachers as parents too. I want to say that to help just get the information in their faces. I know that we don't want to a lot of homework coming home. That's been a big complaint about homework coming home. I'm a parent that complains about homework not coming home because how do I know you're doing anything in school if you're not getting homework coming home? I need to know what you're doing. So, but I also understand that there's education gaps within our community, even with the adults. And nobody grown wants to broadcast that they cannot read, that they cannot help their kids with their homework. So are we looking into like making sure we're actually supporting the kids and the families and like going to them like, do you need additional help? Cause somebody else like assist you? What could we do to make it work for you? Because the kids need that information in their face more than just during the school hours. So me personally, I read to my kids. We love Dr. Seuss, very simple, easy books. I read to my kids almost every night just so they could see my face, interact with me. I ask them questions about the book. I let them talk about the pictures. I just like open up your mind to the comprehension skills. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Or are you just listening to me read a book? Because that could be, you could be in school all day just listening to a teacher and never getting asked questions to know that you grasp the concepts. I know they have a new math curriculum in York City School District that works with. I like it. I like it. It gives the kids like more concepts rather than procedures. Rather than saying this is how you do this, it's giving them the why behind the rules that we all know that sometimes we forget as adults or even forget as children. So I really like the new math curriculum that they have and how it's helping the kids understand the why. And I'm a big part of understanding like why, helping kids understand why. My kids ask me why all the time, and I tell them sometimes. Like sometimes it's because I said so, but sometimes if we got time, I'm explaining why. Because if you don't clean the house, then it's gonna be dirty.
How can you do a math problem if you can't read efficiently? You know, because most of the math problems is in a reading form.
Yes.
In a paragraph form. And if you can't comprehend or, read at your level, that's going to be difficult to do,
I will say there are a lot of resources for adults to learn how to read, like underused resource. I'll say Martin Library. York Literacy is also an underused resource, but we have to think about like the kind of the shame that comes with not being able to read and then going out in public to possibly a group of people to tell them that you don't know how to read or that you're not like comprehending something properly. I think that we need to kind of fix the stigma and let people know that like it's okay to struggle and kind of open up about things that we struggle with. I suck at math. I'm not good at math. That's why I like the new math that tells you the how and why. It's helping me learn as an adult. So as a person who I love to read and I support anybody trying to read, and I understand, I get it. Reading and writing is one of those critical skills that you have to have, and people just expect you to have it in school. But the way school is going, you cannot read and get passed up. You cannot be writing properly, neatly, legibly, and go to the next grade. So we need to ensure that that's not happening so that we don't have a demographic of adults who cannot help their kids, because this couldn't be a new thing that's happening because the adults now can't help their kids.
They said no child left behind, but I think a lot have been left behind and pushed through for numbers' sake. We hope not.
But even what you was mentioning about like the math, for parents, if you're listening at home, and I just also want to make mention for those who are listening on White Rose channel 16 and 18, we will cut off abruptly right at 9 o'clock. But you can make sure you just tune in to us next Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. For those that's on Facebook, we're going to continue going. We had a wonderful gentleman a couple programs ago, Akil. Out of Philly. Has all this math. Check out allthismath.com. He has a myriad of educational videos for youth and for parents to teach you how to support your child with this new math. He was on the program talking about this new math. I was like, I don't know about no new math. So if you are like me and you have a hesitancy,
he's a math wizard, though.
Yeah. Because sometimes we can, and parents, we get stuck. I don't know what that is, or ask somebody else. No, you. They can't teach old. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Absolutely.
So go to allthismath.com on YouTube to see the videos that are already presented, so you can become familiarized, so you can actually help your youth with their studies and homework and things. And we need to bring homework home. I don't know who complained about bringing homework home. I don't know who those
lots
people
of
are.
parents. Lots of parents like, I work all day. That's that. I work all day. I
You
don't have
agree with me,
time
Mama?
to help them.
They need homework.
They do.
How you? Because you forget the human mind can only hold certain things. How you not?
As we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share or discuss before we wrap up?
Yeah, well, I do want to just say that the points that I stand on are rebuilding the relationship with the community and the school district. I feel like there's been a lot of damage done, and we need to figure out how we can get the parents actively engaged again, get community stakeholders engaged again. I think that we really need to put the pressure on some of these organizations, especially nonprofits that claim to be helping, and really question, how are you helping? What kind of services are you offering to us? What could you do in addition to better support our school and our students? And I would say that also looking into the budget as well. During the last school board meeting, we had the superintendent present the budget. Well, not we, but they had the superintendent present the budget, and I found a couple of moments where I wanted to ask more questions about, well, why is it like this? Why is it like that? And I felt like the board members weren't really prying as they should, because there's a lot of confusion when it comes to some of the things that were being said, specifically around the 3 networks that we have that are meant to support our schools more and collect data to provide better services to our students. It's proposed to hire 3 leads for these networks, and it costs like $500,000 to hire these three leads. It's $540,000 to hire the 3 network leads for these networks that exist
within the school
or don't exist. They're not within the schools. That's what the confusion is. I've asked and I've tried to get some more clarification. I feel like after I asked this last week, and as I got further explanation of it, it still doesn't make sense. We can't get a solid answer as to whether the networks exist already or if they exist in the future. I can't get a real solid answer of what data have you collected thus far that justifies $500,000 on this specific project that's supposed to bring support to the admin and staff at the schools, and what is it replacing? How are we supporting our staff and admin before that it's going to be so costly now to do this new type of program to support them? Those are the questions that I would have asked if I was a member of the school board. You can't really ask questions during those meetings, but I think it's something to think about. And again, you can go watch the school board meetings. If you have to fast forward through them, scroll through them, or put the captions on so you know what's happening, I really would do that. And I will also pay attention to, it wasn't mentioned in the budget, but it was mentioned that we're buying a new building too, as well. And the way it was mentioned as if it was an accusation against the superintendent, I'm just speaking from my opinion. You can go back and watch this on the school board meeting on YouTube. It was she was speaking as if she was being accused of wasting a whole bunch of money on a cyber school. She said that that's not the case, that the building would only be 20% for the cyber school. The rest would be admin.
What's wrong with the building that they have?
There is watch the meeting. It said no safety issues supposedly, but they need to get the students that are in that building out of that building.
You talking about the district building? Or
No, not the district building where the cyber school. No, where the cyber school is.
The cyber school. Where's that at?
The cyber school. It's what's the building you used to work in? That white building?
The Lindbergh
Is it?
building?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think it's in
Yes, so I think it's an old building.
Yeah, that is old.
It's an old building, and it's not safe for them to be in there, or
Mm.
for whatever reason we're leaving out of the building. It's not good for people to be in, and we're buying
I
a new
didn't realize
building.
that.
Yes, we're buying a new building, which I do agree with. I agree with getting a new building, a new space, a safe space for students. I'm still a little bit confused about the if 20% of it is going to be cyber school, then what is the other 80% going to be used for? If it's because it's mainly not going to house students, and our schools are overpopulated. So what's it going to house, and who's it going to house? If not the students.
So students are in there now for a cyber reason?
I believe so.
I didn't realize. I never seen no activity there.
Yes. So
you ever see any activity there?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's
It's
right
like
across the
across
street
from
from
Penn
Penn Park.
Oh, yeah.
The
Used to
old
call it something
Lindbergh.
else.
It used to
Oh,
be called
yeah.
the Lindbergh building.
I never seen activity in there as well.
Wow.
yeah, but there's some issue in that building, has to be replaced. And now they're looking into buying a new building, and I just wanted some more.
That's a lot of money.
Yes, a lot of money to buy a new building, a lot of money to hire supervisors, and I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything wrong or malicious, but I need more details, and I think that is something that the board members are responsible for doing, getting more details and making sure people fully understand, because I watched the meeting and I didn't understand.
Do they have a location in mind, or they're fishing for that? still?
They're still looking for it. The superintendent did say she's open to suggestions. The student need, she said, is on the west side, so that's where they're looking to buy the building. But that also confuses me. If the students are not going to be in the building, then how does that affect? Okay. So she mentioned that she is open to take meetings, and I will be emailing her to get a meeting just so I can get some more clarifications.
You don't want to take on a building that has a lot of repairs needed.
Right.
That'd defeat the purpose.
Right. So that's what, just a conversation about it, just because I think that it needs to be investigated further. What is this? We just got out of financial recovery. This seems like a lot of money. How is it best supporting the students is always my biggest concern. How is it supporting the students? You can say all the pretty words you want to say. How does it support the students exactly? Also, the networks, it's going to involve moving current district staff around. How are we going to work that out? We're already very short staffed. Like I'm not understanding how we're going to make that work.
Logistics.
Yep. So those are just my two kind of things that I've been looking at closely.
All right.
Alright. I just want to jump in real quick. Just mention for those that are listening, at May 7th, 6:30 to 8:30, there at the Crispus Attucks Community Center, the NAACP is promoting
Man,
the
that's
school
our
board candidate town hall. It's a town hall meeting, Crispus Attucks, May 7th, 6:30 to 8:30. Get involved.
That's the same day of our show. That's Wednesday.
There you go. We'll do something there. Take this show on the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, our show is that day. That's on Wednesday. That's next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we're supposed to have Pastor Chris Water and YJ DeShields, two powerful young brothers. They're supposed to be on our show next week at 8 p.m. Maybe I can join that town hall meeting for the first hour or so, and then I would have to come here and do our normal show. But I'm definitely looking forward to that with Pastor Chris Water and YJ DeShields. They both have a great story to tell. So peace and blessings, and this has been a wonderful conversation and very informative.
Oh, thank you.
Keep doing your thing.
I enjoyed it. I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be. I love talking.
So, all right, hit the button.
Yep.